All right, so today what we're doing is remachining, resurfacing an oil pump housing out of a Fortec. You recognize this is the one on the front of the motor. You can buy the replacement guts, but that doesn't solve the problem. These are hardened steel. I don't know those are going to really wear much. But what you get is scoring down in the surface on the face of the housing. It's really not that bad, but there's been debris in there. So what you have to do is hit the clearance when this goes together. Smooth this up, and then you need 4/1000 of a clearance for the rotor, the outer and inner rotor wheel, to the cover. And the cover is obviously aluminum, and this is nice and new. I don't have the old one. It was probably scored up too. The hardest part is indicating this in. It has to be really perfect because the clearances we're talking about are, on the level of 1,000s. So I've got this one as close as I'm going to get it. The housing probably isn't perfect itself, but you got to get it within, I'm about within 1,000s. So that's about 1,000. Okay. All right, so we'll look at what the manual has to say about the pump and the clearances in the pump and between the rotors and around the edge of the outer rotor. It gives you 3 locations to check. 9/1000 is the limit on the clearance, but that's between these parts which are new. So it's a very tight fit, and those clearances are going to be fine if you replace the internals of the pump. But what we're dealing with here is the axial clearance. Axial clearance in the direction of the shaft as it sticks out of the pump here. And that clearance is between the actual aluminum housing down in the bottom of the cavity. So as we machine away the material to resurface this bottom of the cavity, that will increase our axial clearance. We'll then have to remove the same amount of material off the outer seating surface so that we maintain our axial clearance within that 4/1000. And if you have a lot of wear here, would actually have to remove more up here to bring that clearance in. And we'll measure that with dial indicators that are very accurate, and that will be done on the mill. Okay, so I have the small case set up on the mill, and I'm going to just take a light skim pass. I have my indicator set at 0. We'll know exactly how much we're removing. So then we'll raise the cutter the proper amount of the thickness of the rotor plus 4/1000, and then we'll cut the seating surface for the cover plate. And that's how we'll get our 4/1000, and then we'll measure that to be just right. and adjust that if needed. Alright, so here is the cleaned up surface. And I've taken about 0.08 off. So we will measure the rotor thickness, and then we'll add 0.04 and we will come up that amount and cut the land. Okay, with the dial indicator set up on the outer surface, I'm going to show you the difference as I move it in towards the rotor. And that moved about 0.04. So we're good there, and everything is cleaned up. Alright, so here is the PTO mag housing. This is the pressure pump side. Basically, the guts are the same and the specs are the same on the clearances, and like you could see, the scoring, not terrible. I don't think they're really worn out, they're just scored, but we will clean this up just like the other one that I showed you. Okay, we're going to take about 0.10 in the depth direction. Okay, so we have the bottom surface cleaned up, and we will then do the cover plate seating surface, and we will make that 0.04 higher than the rotor. Okay, so here's the inspection. We're looking for this needle to drop 0.04 when we go from the outer seating surface to the face of the rotor. and then we'll have our 4 thousandths clearance.